Right, so to actually get to use this post form that we just created, we need to understand something, which is a view. The actual work of a view is not just to do a get request, of which we do, but also to do a post request. For example, let's look at the current state of our website. Now, if you refresh this, your browser sends a certain kind of request, which is called a GET request. Now, this GET request, like the literal English meaning sounds, it's trying to get a resource, right? But when you're submitting a form or a user is submitting a form, this is going to be a post. You're giving a data to the server. So this is post. This means that by default, all requests on the view should is most likely a get, right? Now, this in this case where we want to handle submission of forms, collecting data from the user, it means that we would want to handle a post request. So in that case, we're going to have to write a code that should be sufficient to handle post request and get request. And when it's a get request, we request for the form from our server, and then when it's a post request, we allow the user to make a submission with the data required, or require the fields required by the server. Now let's have it. We have what do we call it, post form. Let's call it post form view, and then you have okay, let me remove this. Now remember to have a request there. Now if request dot method equals post, what do? We would want, if it's a post, it means that the user is actually making a submission to the form. So in that case, what do we do? First, let's get our form, post form, request the data is request or post, and then we need to make sure that this form is valid. This is the vital aspect of the code that actually confirms or does the checks with our form, the post form. Now if the form is valid, we want to now go ahead to save this form to our database, and once that is done, we would want to redirect the user to the home page. So we're going to import redirect from Django shortcuts. So once we redirect the user, also ensure that the name you're using there is the exact name as written here. So once we redirect the user to the home page, why do we need to do this? The essence of this is to ensure that there is no multiple submissions, that as soon as you click your submit button, as soon as you're creating your form, we're redirecting you to the home page, so that you don't by chance click the button more than you intend to. Now having done that, how about when there is no post request? When this URL is visited, what happens? It means that it's most likely isn't always going to be a post request. So in cases where it's a get request, what do? Post form. So we literally just want to render the post form HTML and pass in the form as a context. Now here we will also want to return the form likewise, and pass in the form as Okay, this is literally the same as this. So here we might want to, if the form is not valid, we would want to keep the user on that page and return maybe a HTTP response telling the user, let's see, a H2, we want to tell the user invalid entry, and close this. Right, so having gotten this, we're calling it post form. So okay, let's change this to create post rather, which is a better word. Okay, post form should be a better word. So let's refactor this. It should be rename it to this. So we have post form, so that we have this existing. Now for our post form, remember we would want to extend our pages that we want to extend our base HTML, and then we want to have a block title, a post form, then a block content. We want to have the form. So remember we passed in form as a context here, form, right? So within this block content, let's close this block also, and block, sorry, in this block content, I want to have a form, sorry, so when you have a form, it's necessary you include what we call this, CSRF token. This means cross-site request forgery. So this token helps to combat any cross-site request to our server. So with this, we render the form. Remember the form we passed as a context, we render it as P, and with this we have a submit button, which is responsible for the submit. Then from there, what else do we need to do? Let's close this now. Check out views. Okay, we might not be able to see without checking it. Now let's check it out. Let's close this too. Okay, we want to add our form to our URL. So we would want to include that part, create. Well, let's go with post form. Right. I'll prefer this is this post form. So we have a let's get the exact name of our views, and that's post form views. Right. So we import this. Having imported it, we can now go ahead to try this out. Okay, before then, let's add this to our base URL. Right. So that we have this post form, submit a post. Rather, let's have it create post. Right. So we reload this. You can see our create post. Then we see our title and our content. Right, so our title, let's put in something there. Testing the forms. Then let's use a lorem ipsum, and then we submit. So what happened? We weren't redirected. Right, let's check if our post was actually created. Let's see. Nope, a post wasn't created because it's not included here. It's not found there. So there must be something wrong. So there must be something wrong. Again, I would, yes, recommend we include this. Where's our settings? Include our CRF, CSRF, trusted origin. So we add this. Add this real quick. Right. So let's try this out again. Still not redirecting and still not being created. Let's debug this further. So what could the problem likely be? Let's check out our views. If it's a post request, if the form is valid, receive the form. Let's have a print here. I know if it's getting to this point, it means from that clean data, this point. This is for debug purposes. So let's run this and see. Let's just have some random stuff. Create. Then let's see that this isn't even gotten to. Right. Oh, right. Notice something now. We're meant to have our action, or rather our method included in the form. So let's try that out so that our browser knows that this is actually a post request. We don't get any print. Okay, let's check out this. How to return redirected form is valid. That's correct. See what the problem is. We have a form to save, directing, don't redirect. Method. Okay.